I don't think that Dean is this level above everyone in the tournament. I might be paying the rent now, but this is my landlord lying down on the floor there. Baby Hulk is a very unique opponent, isn't he? So in a nutshell, I'm fucked really. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Maybe we should do a bit of a breakdown afterwards. Welcome, Misfits Boxing fans. I'm Ben the Bane Davis, here with my co-host, BL, and today we've got an action-packed episode. We're going to delve into the world of crossover boxing once more. We've got a tournament favorite joining us, but first, BL, how are you?
I'm very well, Ben. How are you doing today?
Fantastic. I'm a little tired, but we're back at the command station, which is what matters.
Now, we've seen a Misfits fighter officially retire. KSI responds to the Wayne Rooney fight allegations. We've witnessed some heated exchanges between the Sidemen and Tommy Fury, and we're interviewing one of the tournament's superstars. And let's not forget, it is Jake Paul's big weekend. There is so much to cover. But Ben, let's start off with that Jake Paul fight weekend.
Yeah, the Rhino's going to get in there. We'll see what happens. I think many fans and myself can guess how it's going to play out. Maybe he's got that lucky right hand, right, Bill? Everyone's got a puncher's chance.
You know what, Ben? I'm really conflicted with this. If you look at the traditional boxing realm, I went to a professional fight the other day. You do go against these fighters. I mean, he is a Golden Glove champion.
I'm going to stop you right there. I get it. I know. He's already competed at a higher level.
So it doesn't make sense to step back down.
It doesn't make sense to step down. Like, it's one thing if he started from the ground up taking on these guys. And like you said, that's not how he started. That's not how he progressed for years. In my mind, it isn't as competitive or interesting. It's just not interesting.
Well, we do need to talk about a few people that have called out Jake Paul. NFL star Tyreek Hill, is that how you pronounce it?
Tyreek Hill from the
Tyreek Hill, and you also have Tony Ferguson calling out Jake Paul. Do you think these would be better fights for Jake to take?
Yeah, so Tony Ferguson's on a 7-fight losing streak within the UFC, most recently coming up short against Paddy Pimblett. I don't think so. Tyreek Hill is a receiver for the Miami Dolphins. He's a NFL athlete. He's not a boxer. This is kind of like a Nate Robinson type situation if you went and fought him.
Now, Ben, I want you to talk me through this boxer that seems to be causing quite a bit of trouble, I guess, with Jake Paul. Jumped into Jake Paul's gym. Naresh Goyat.
The first Indian boxer to get into the WBC world rankings. In 2008, he was named India's most promising boxer. I do want to add, that was 16 years ago. He is getting a lot of attention. His videos on Jake Paul are garnering millions of views, tens of thousands of comments. There does seem to be a lot of interest and engagement here, which is solid. Like, props to this guy for building it up, going down to Puerto Rico, getting in Jake Paul's face. I mean, that's the most viral moment of the day. Props to him, but BL, the big issue I have with Niraj is he fights at super lightweight, which I was
just about to bring that up. I mean, the weight difference. How do they make that happen?
They don't. Sorry, that's the quick answer. They don't make it happen. Sorry, you're 50 pounds under. The fight's not going to happen.
Before we move subject, Ben, I want to get your final predictions this weekend. Jake Paul, how's this fight going to go?
Jake Paul's going to knock him out in the first round. Jake Paul has a lot of power. He is doing so much training. I mean, the guy's dedicated his life towards it, and the results are speaking for themselves. I'm going to go with another first round KO for one Jake Paul.
I agree. I think it's either going to be another uppercut, right hand, something along the lines of, but will it make it past that first round? I highly, highly doubt it.
Either way, BL, maybe we should do a bit of a breakdown afterwards.
Well, another headline, Ben, is the feud between Tommy Fury and Mini Minter from the Sidemen. Mini Minter didn't pull any punches back. As he said, Tommy Fury is a walking L due to that boxing performance with KSI. And he said he didn't rate Tommy Fury's daughter's name, Bambi. I mean, they seem to be going back and forth. What do you make of this? Should Mini Minter maybe fight Tommy Fury?
I don't get it. It feels very petty. I'm not sure why we're talking about it. It's his daughter's name, Bambi.
When I interviewed Tommy Fury, I said, why don't you fight Vidal Riley? Now, this seems to be the perfect fight for Tommy Fury going forwards because Vidal Riley has a name, he sells tickets, and he's a legitimate boxer. But he said, no, I want to sell more tickets than that. He doesn't bring names. But then he also said he doesn't want to fight influencers, and that's where this all stems from with Mini Minter. I don't know what I think anymore. I don't know where Tommy Fury actually belongs. Wayne Rooney texted KSI at 4 a.m. on the 5th of December, 2022, and he goes, and I quote, "Hi, mate, what do you think on me and you having a boxing fight? I think we could generate a lot of money. You up for it?"
I just love the visual of Wayne Rooney at 4 in the morning laying in bed going, well, I should probably text KSI right now, shouldn't I? I'd like to see it. I think it makes a lot of money for everybody. KSI gets another highlight reel KO. Wayne Rooney gets to get in there, box, make a good amount of money. So
I think he's only 38, 37, so he's not actually that much older than than KSI as is. So he does have a bit of boxing background. Now, the second thing I want to say is KSI himself has said he doesn't want to fight Wayne Rooney right now. However, Mans is pushing for that fight because he says it makes sense. But JJ's saying he'd rather see him fight someone else. And if he knocks him out Spark, then that fight makes sense.
Well, BL, shifting focus, the Misfits world says goodbye to Master Uguay, who has officially announced his retirement after Misfits and him failed to come to terms on a new purse for an upcoming fight or a fight down the line in 2024. Tommy 0-1. That TKO loss to Arms Corleone was a tough one. Opponent shift like the day or two before.
He debuted on the same card that you fought. I mean, it's a shame to see.
We both got knocked out. Maybe I should retire next.
Goodbye, Ben.
Next.
Goodbye, Ben.
You know, guys, fucking this. This has been great. It's a bummer because he's got some good beef with people. I know Miles Raksu isn't a fan of him. I know DTG was not a big fan of him, so I thought those were great fights. The dude's dedicated. Talking to him in Newcastle seemed like a great guy. I know a lot of people don't like his content, but off camera, the dude seems chill. So I don't know. I'm bummed.
Well, we're saying goodbye to Master Uguay, and we're welcoming Joe Weller into the Misfits realm. He is now hinting over and over again whilst he's in Thailand that he's making that Misfits debut. He's looking a lot smaller though, Ben. He's looking a lot smaller. So now I am really asking the question, who on earth are they putting Joe Weller against? Because it doesn't look like it's Bazinga.
Anyone that Joe Weller fights, like I'm interested in. He's the A side. Joe Weller is the guy that people are coming to see. If they could put him against another big star, for sure, sign me up. But like, I'm tied in on Weller's comeback.
Let me stop you there, Ben. Some breaking news has just come in. Anthony Taylor versus Gabe Silver is cancelled.
Effectively, Gabe Silva wanted the fight at 170 instead of 175 and then asked for a rehydration clause so that Anthony Taylor couldn't rehydrate past 180 pounds.
I mean, it's unfortunate to see, you know, some people called this the real main event, and I was really looking forward to see this. I think we were going to see a new Anthony Taylor in this fight. However, I don't know whether I believe if it's truly off yet. What I don't agree with is negotiating this late, especially to the champion. Anthony Taylor's the one with the belt, so you have to abide by his rules if you want that belt.
Gabe Silva's done this before. I have to add this. When I fought Gabe, he pulled out for a week. The fight was originally contracted at 165 pounds. He pulls out. I get texts from Mam saying, oh, Gabe wants it at 170. He wants it at 170 pounds. I, being the badass that I am, say, fuck it. You need 5 extra pounds. Like you didn't have every conceivable advantage going into that. You can have it. Let's fight at 170. And then the guy shows up and weighs in at 167 anyways. So it's just games. It's just Gabe and his manager playing games. So I'm hoping that this fight can come back together. And I'll say this, it's not shade. It's not like I'm trying to disrespect Gabe's manager, Gabe himself, or the Brickhouse team, but they are more of a pro boxing environment, right? So they're going to be attacking these negotiations and preparing for these fights. Rehydration clauses for influencer boxing, Gabe? Come on, dude. Stop it.
Well, it's not all negative, Ben. We have some fights, some lineups, if that fight wasn't to happen. So, Ben, run me through the current roster.
Slim could hop in there and try and grab another title. A fantastic fight. Or OJ Rose. We saw Rose in many people's minds beat Ashley Raksu. He is next up at that division for the title shot. Maybe OJ can step off the shelf. But the one that intrigues me the most, BL, it's yours truly versus B Dave. I want to crack at the best punching bag in Misfits history. I think we could come in and have a fun show. He's an American. I'm an American. I'm looking for a win. He's trying to bounce back from a loss. BL just makes sense to me.
If B Dave doesn't want to take you on his own, I am ready to step into the ring against Pineda, the only person that can talk shit against Pineda because I speak Spanish, and have Misfits News versus Los Pinedas Coladas.
I just don't see what's better than BL and the Bane taking on Los Pinedas Coladas.
Well, with Misfits 13 around the corner, we're thrilled to welcome one of the tournament favorites, Joey Knight, to give us some insights and guide us through this event.
Pumped to have you here, brother. Talk to us about this fight camp. What's been new? What have you been training on?
Well, Baby Hulk is a very unique opponent, isn't he? Because he comes from an MMA background. It's very hard to find sparring partners at that height. I think Baby Hulk's listed as 5 foot. I'm normally the smaller guy. I'm normally the guy that is at a disadvantage when it comes to height. So to try and find people that are that height, and not only are that height, but he's a rare breed, Baby Hulk. So in a nutshell, I'm fucked really. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Well, I want to actually ask you, have you seen any of Baby Hulk's performances on Street Beats, and what do you make of them?
Yeah, he's a beast, isn't he? He's Brian said it best, yeah, true Geordie. We were doing a little piece of media where we were talking about the fight coming up, and I said, yeah, he's and I couldn't get my words out, and Brian went, he's a fucking cycle. And I think that sums it up well, doesn't it? All I can say is I'm very happy it's happening in a boxing ring and not a cage or someone's back garden or something like that. So let's just be thankful for that.
Talking about the debut, I want to get into your background and experience because when I was doing research to call your fight, I heard like 9 different things about about your record. So let's set it straight here. Joey Knight, how many times have you made that walk and competed?
I think it's a bad connection, mate. I can't hear you. One of my things is, and this is why the Americans might struggle to get me at first, right? Is I've got a very dry sense of humor and I say stuff and I don't laugh, right? He said about the prior boxing experience and I went, yeah. I said, listen, I was 320 fights in the amateurs and I just looked at Most Wanted's face and I just see his eyes wide. I used to fight on an unlicensed show. It wasn't professional. It wasn't amateur. I fought some good boys. I fought some shit boys and I fought some boys in between. I won all my fights on there. I'm 9-0 now.
I'm curious though, what do you make of Most Wanted getting this main event opportunity after his loss to you? That's got to be interesting to see.
Good luck to him, man. And obviously, it's a good time to show my my thankfulness for him having me on his undercard. Maybe that's why I didn't force the stoppage in that one because I was thinking, listen, I might be having I might be paying the rent now, but this is my landlord lying down on the floor there. Me and Most Wanted to have a bit of banter about it. He messaged me saying, "Wow, you're on my undercard" or something like that. I'm looking forward to seeing him out there, man. Most Wanted was a very nice bloke, and I've got nothing bad to say about him. I did find it weird when I saw the thing saying he wanted a rematch with me, but listen, you got to be confident in this game. I think he's massively up against it against Fox the G because from what we've seen of Fox so far, man, he looks explosive, he looks good, and he looks willing to throw hell for leather. So,
well, I think we have to touch base a little bit on that Misfits tournament. It's the first ever Misfits tournament, and I want to know your opinion on who you think will be the biggest threat in that division.
Let me prelude this by saying I think Dean the Great is a very, very good fighter, but I don't think that Dean is this level above everyone in the tournament. I've heard a lot of talk about Little Cray Cray being is it Cray Cray or Crap?
Little Cray Cray.
I've heard a lot of talk about him being like a dark horse in the tournament. Listen, I didn't know him before the tournament was announced, but now seeing his stuff, I'm a fan of it, man. I like it. Yuddy Gang, obviously, he's the one that, in my opinion, should be the favourite because he's the one with the most experience. You know, I've heard a Golden Gloves winner and whatnot. And then you got guys like me and Ace Musa. Listen, I know a lot of people in the amateur boxing scene and in the pro boxing scene and whatnot. And Ace Musa's the one that I'm hearing big things of. Apparently, holding his own or has held his own in the gym with good boys and looks like he knows what he's doing, sort of thing. So you're looking at the victor, the main man. I'm the one that's going to come out on top of all this shit, and then obviously fight Dean. Yes.
Well, obviously, if you win this tournament, you beat Dean the Great. This is all theoretical. Can we see the fight with Fox the G down the line?
You can see the fight with me and anyone, but I'm hoping for that Wayne Rooney payday first, you know. There's not many fighters that you could bring up that you're going to find me saying anything too bad about. Like, I like Fox, man. He's a cool guy. Yeah. He was in the hotel with me. Yeah, listen, man, I've got big respect for Fox. I'm sure at one point me and him will meet as well, but until then, it's all love, man. It's all respect.
Getting you to shit talk someone's going to be such a battle.
Well, there's Yuddy in the tournament. He put up some tweets about me, didn't he, on the night of my fight? So Yuddy said he was going to beat the dog shit out of me. It's surprising because I don't know what he's basing it on. I've never seen him beat the dog shit out of anyone, bruv. I'm being honest. Once I've had a lot of fights, I've been involved in a tag team match. Everything that he's done, I doubt I'm going to be looking at some guy on his debut on the prelims, going tweeting him, "I'm going to beat the dog shit out of you." Let's see if he keeps the same energy in person, man.
Joey, someone who has been in your corner for a very long time is, of course, True Geordie. You mentioned him earlier. Do you think that he could ever get inside the Misfits ring?
If the paycheck's big enough, mate, you're going to have to be able to afford him. Mate, Brian can fight. I know Brian can fight. A lot of the guys grew up on the YouTube era. Like, a lot of these guys grew up watching YouTube, you know. I saw the fighters in the hotel's reaction when KSI rocked up. And that's not to say that I don't acknowledge what big names these guys are and whatever, but I'm a little bit older. I'm 29. I didn't really grow up watching these guys on YouTube. But one guy I did watch, and probably religiously, self-proclaimed fan, is Brian. I used to watch all of the True Geordie content, the True Geordie podcast, whatnot, the kickoff, whatever you're paying, KSIs, the Jake Pauls, the elite level guys. That's what it would take to get Brian in there, you know what I mean? And God knows, maybe more. So
if you were to compare yourself to any football, I know you're into your football. If you were to compare yourself to any footballer in the boxing ring, who would it be?
Oh, good question. Lee Trundle. You never heard of him, have you?
I have never heard of that bloke.
I've certainly never heard of him.
Lee Trundle was some fella that played for Swansea years and years ago. He was like League Two, but he used to do all the step overs around the world, all these things. So at pro level, yeah, I couldn't get in there with a pro world champion and do it. Lee Trundle could never go to the Premier League and do it. In Division 2, he was the man. And that's me on the old Misfits. I'm not like Dean, yeah? You won't hear me going, oh, yeah, I'm going to beat up Shakur Stevenson and Ryan Garcia. You know what would happen if I got in a ring with Shakur Stevenson? He'd beat the fucking shit out of me. He would absolutely hammer me, and I know that. But I tell you what, at this level, I'm going to smoke all these boys, and I'm going to dance rings around them. So let's see.
Joey Knight, any last thoughts or messages you'd like to share as you head into this tournament?
Listen, thanks for having me. That's the main thing, man, because I know like I have to remind myself all the time, you know, life's gone crazy now. And when I started this whole podcasting thing, I did actually have in my head that I'd love to get on Misfits one day because I knew I could do a bit in the ring. But for it to come to fruition now and it's all be happening, flying out to America, fighting in Nashville, like that's just mental. Do you know what I mean? Before Leeds, I had never boxed more than a stone's throw probably from my own house, and now I'm flying out to America. I'm just so grateful for all the opportunities, man. So Mams Taylor, DAZN, obviously one of my best friends, Brian, the true Geordie, who's helped maneuver this path for me, and all you guys watching, everyone giving it the coverage. I'm just very, very grateful to be here, but not too grateful that I'm just gonna, you know, reminisce in it. I'm here to tear it up.
Well, Ben, Joey Knight is definitely one to watch on this card. He has some extensive boxing background. He looks like a proper boxer in there. Now, what did you make of him saying True Geordie would possibly step into the ring for the right price?
Oh, I love it. I love it. He said Brian's a fighter. I can't wait to see it. I think that would be a scenario where Mams, Misfits, DAZN, like they can come to terms on a price, and they've worked with True Geordie a ton in the past. I think that would be so much fun.
True Geordie trained with Vidal Riley. He sparred with Vidal Riley. So it really would be that full circle moment to see him in the Misfits boxing ring.
Additionally, Joey Knight mentioning a little bit of a beef with Yeti Gang.
I like to see it.
Nice guy, but we saw some wrinkles. We saw some edge from Joey Knight, and him versus Yeti would be a pretty fun scrap.
I really don't know which way that could go because Yeti Gang and Joey Knight are really technical fighters. Yeti Gang's a little bit more reserved, goes to the body, he's a bit more quiet, whereas Joey Knight's forward pressure, he finds those angles, and he's a bit of a showman. So that could really be a good fight down the line.
What an episode for breaking down Jake Paul's upcoming fight, to delving into the drama between the Sidemen and Tommy Fury, topped off with that amazing guest appearance by Joey Knight. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Every Tuesday and Thursday, the boys are back with you. We'll see you then.